Hello and welcome to this short tips session brought to you by Silex Regulation. My name is Francine Allgood and I'm the Investigations Manager at Silex Regulation, and today I'll be sharing my top tips for declaring prior conduct. Tip number 1, know your requirements. As a member of Silex, you are part of an organisation of individuals known for their professionalism. You have a reputation as a legal practitioner that can be trusted by members of the public and businesses. A significant factor in your professional status is that you are regulated, and being regulated sets you apart from other professionals who operate without the assurance of regulation. It also brings with it rights and responsibilities. One of your requirements is to provide us with full details of any conduct that may affect your suitability to become or remain regulated or authorised by us. And I'll go into this in a little bit more detail shortly. You will recognise this requirement as the prior conduct declaration. All members of Silex, Silex practitioners and those holding an approved role in an authorised entity are required to complete a prior conduct declaration. When should you declare prior conduct? You are required to complete a declaration at several points. As soon as a conduct matter occurs, you should let us know. You're also required to complete a declaration form as part of your annual renewal of membership or your practicing certificate, and in any application to Silex or Silex Regulation. In some instances, members have waited until their annual renewal to complete a prior conduct declaration. However, you should not do this. You are required to complete the declaration as soon as the conduct occurs. You can declare conduct at any time using your My Silex or My CRL portal, and I'll cover how you do this on the next slide. Tip 2, know how to declare. You can declare prior conduct at any time, as I've just said, by accessing your My Silex or My CRL portal and clicking on the My Conduct Declaration tile. There are step-by-step instructions on how to do this on the prior conduct area of the Silex Regulation website. Also, when the time comes to renew your Silex membership or your practicing certificate for 2021, you'll be required to complete a prior conduct declaration before you can pay. This is unless you've submitted a declaration on or after the 1st of August 2020, in which case you will not be required to submit another declaration form. Tip 3, know what to declare. Generally speaking, we want to know about any conduct that may affect your suitability to become or remain regulated or authorised by us. There are specific questions for you to answer which are set out in the declaration form itself. And if you wish to read the questions and the guidance before you complete the declaration, you can find the declaration form itself with all the questions on it and the guidance on the Silex Regulation website. You can access this by selecting I am regulated, then selecting enforcement and then prior conduct. There are also lots of FAQs on this area of the website in respect of prior conduct. In terms of what to declare, you should answer each question asked of you accurately, bearing in mind the following points. In terms of any criminal conduct, the requirement to declare previous criminal convictions, cautions, reprimands and final warnings vary depending on the type of regulated professional that you are. No one is required to declare to Silex Regulation previous criminal conduct that is protected and therefore filtered from a standard DBS certificate. And only chartered legal executives, Silex practitioners, and those with an approved role in an authorised entity are required to declare criminal conduct that is spent. Therefore, if you are in a grade of membership below chartered legal executive, you do not need to declare any criminal conviction, caution, reprimand or final warning that is spent. If you need guidance to help you identify whether any criminal conduct you have is spent or protected, please again see the prior conduct area of the Silex Regulation website and also the gov.uk website. There are links to this guidance on the Silex Regulation website. In terms of financial conduct, it is important for legal service providers to demonstrate their ability to manage finances properly, as they can often come into contact with client money. As such, you are required to declare to us whether you have been adjudged bankrupt, made a composition with creditors, and or been the subject of a civil judgment. The reason for this is that they may indicate an inability to act in accordance with sound financial and risk management principles, which is one of the key principles of the Silex Code of Conduct. Formal arrangements with creditors where they usually agree to accept less than they are owed, must be declared. This includes things like debt relief orders and individual voluntary arrangements. However, you do not need to declare informal arrangements to repay your creditors in full. For example, where a creditor has agreed more favourable repayment terms over, say, a longer period of time. For a more detailed explanation of why declarations of financial matters are important and the types of financial matters that SILEX regulation need to know about, please read the Money Matters article on the Regulation Matters website. Removal from a position of trust. If you are removed from a position of trust in a charity or a public body, or you're disqualified as a director of a company, you must tell us about it. Investigations by another professional body or regulator. Again, this is something that you must tell us about, and it's important to remember that you need to make a new declaration as soon as you are aware that you're subject of an investigation by another professional body or regulator. The investigation itself must be declared to comply with the enforcement rules, even if the investigation eventually finds that you have done nothing wrong. And finally, any other matter which may be relevant to admit, authorise or approve you must be declared to us on your prior conduct declaration form. In terms of matters that you have previously declared, you are still required to declare these, even if you have declared them to us before and they have been previously approved. This is unless it's a criminal matter, which I covered before, and that you have previously declared to us and that it is now spent. That's the case if you're not a chartered legal executive, SILEX practitioner, or have an approved role. Tip 4, provide full details. If you answer yes to any question on the prior conduct declaration form, the responses are reviewed by the SILEX regulation enforcement team. When you declare conduct for the first time, we ask you for further information from you and the organisations that are involved so that we can carry out an initial assessment. If you've previously declared the conduct, we don't usually make inquiries unless there is missing or incomplete information. We will make a decision in-house, if possible, but there are circumstances set out in the enforcement rules where we can't do this. We then will refer your details to an independent panel called the Professional Conduct Panel. So my top tip here, to ensure that your conduct is dealt with as efficiently as possible, is to always complete the additional text box when you answer yes, and to provide as much information as possible. If you've previously declared the conduct and supplied all relevant information, then please say so. Please specifically state what the conduct is that you are declaring so that we can match it up with our records. And if possible, please provide dates on which you previously declared the conduct and dates on which it was previously approved. And finally, for any further guidance that you may need, here is a list of information that you can access to give you more information. And if you still have questions before completing your prior conduct declaration form, then please email us at priorconduct@silexregulation.org.uk. Thank you very much.